Hey, welcome to This Week in Pharmacy. I'm your host, Todd Urey, founder of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. It's August 8th, 2025. Summer is going by too fast. I can't stand how fast it's gone by in Western Pennsylvania. If you're from the Pittsburgh area, if you're from Cleveland, if you're from Columbus or West Virginia or Northern West Virginia, that is, your June sucked. Your June was all rain and we got cheated out of summer. And yeah, I'm complaining about summer because I don't want it to go. Summer is my season and I want more summer. But we have a lot to talk about today. We have lots of news to go through. We're going to be talking about the impact of artificial intelligence on accounting. And today's sponsor is Titan Accounting Advisors. Wonderful organization, very focused on the survival, the thrivability of our independent community pharmacies, and their technology platform and the impact on community pharmacy is really interesting. And a pharmacy owner is going to be chiming in, someone who you know if you listen to the Pharmacy Podcast Network. We're also going to be talking with RxInsider and the world of Intel reports, which is going to give us a lot of data, lots of information to dig into. But first up, we're going to go through news, and all of this is coming up on This Week in Pharmacy. Hey, welcome back. Hope you guys had a great week. It is, like I said, August 8th. It's Friday. What a wonderful day it is. It's good weather outside here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, broadcasting live from Brownsville, Pennsylvania, which is southwest of Pennsylvania. It's the clean side of Pennsylvania versus the Philly team over there. I don't know, maybe I'm being a little aggressive, but I'm starting to think about football, and not a fan of the Philly world of football, Giants, and I'm a Steeler fan, but we'll be talking more about the upcoming season and sports pharmacy and how pharmacists are impacting the NFL. That'll be a special episode coming up this early fall, late summer. But we have a lot to talk about today. I am going to jump right into TWIRx news. TWIRx news. Hey, we want to start right out of the gate with an update. A story about Blue Shield of California came out several months ago, and they just announced that they're going to launch a new prescription price transparency tool for its members. I think this is wonderful news. It should have been out there quite some time ago. Transparency for drug pricing and the non-manipulation of PBM data, and just giving everybody notice of what is what. This is called the Price Check My Rx. Once again, the tool is called Price Check My Rx, and it's available in the insurer's existing member app, allowing members to see in real time the out-of-pocket price for any new refilled prescription submitted by the provider and covered under their pharmacy benefits. Shout out to any community pharmacy, any pharmacist over in the California area who has patients that are covered by Blue Shield of California. We would like to dig into this tool. We would like to know what's under the covers. And you're getting shout out right now. So if you want to participate in a follow-up This Week in Pharmacy, we'd love to hear from you about this tool, because we want to hear from the people in the trenches, not necessarily the pharmacy benefit managers or the insurance companies, although I'd be interested in talking with them too. And transparency leads us to a story out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, just this week. And the title of this article, coming from the Trib Live, you can go to triblive.com, is "We're Trying to Disrupt an Industry. Mark Cuban touts pharmacy deal with Giant Eagle." So Mark Cuban came into Pittsburgh and he met up with the Giant Eagle pharmacy team. And one of their key functions is to negotiate better rebates or discounts with manufacturers on behalf of insurance plans and pay pharmacies a better rate of reimbursement. Cost Plus Drugs skips the benefit managers altogether. They dig into savings and they add a 15% markup plus fees that are put in there for other medications, maybe specialty medications. And he's quoted in saying that we're trying to disrupt an industry that needs disrupted. And that's very true. We definitely want to disrupt. I'm curious and hopeful that Mark Cuban will bring innovation to the pharmacy marketplace. And I hope that he continues to innovate and continues to partner with pharmacies throughout the nation. So I think that's good news. I think that any innovation that's changing the traditional PBM model is a good thing. And I think the status quo is non-sustainable. So shout out to Mark Cuban, Cost Plus Drugs. Next in the news comes from Reuters, Reuters.com. It says Novo Nordisk expands lawsuit against weight loss drug compounders. And it goes into how the Danish drug maker said on Tuesday that it filed 14 lawsuits in the United States against the sale of unapproved versions of semaglutide, the active ingredient in the popular weight loss and diabetes drug Wegovy and Ozempic. And it goes through kind of a couple of the cases that they're working on. And the companies were temporarily allowed to produce compounded doses of Novo's obesity and diabetes drug when the FDA declared them in short supply. And Scott Brunner, CEO of the Alliance of Pharmacy Compounding, which represents compounding pharmacists and technicians, said that Novo's statement misrepresented the work of legitimate state licensed compounding pharmacies. And, I've talked to Scott. We know Scott. We know all about the APC and their transparency and what they bring to market in protection of pharmacists out there doing compounding, true compounding, non-sterile, sterile compounding, and hospital system compounding. So I don't really necessarily take a side per se, other than the side of the pharmacist that is the compounder, and when that's necessary. But we're gonna be watching this and what happens to pharmacy compounding, which feels like it's under attack in a lot of ways. And on one side of the coin, that organizations, pharmaceutical manufacturers want everything to come from them in these prepackaged solutions or medications. And then on the other hand, we know that patients should have the freedom to work with pharmacists that can compound and customize medications. So it's a 50-50 for me there. I get it. I see both sides, but it's freedom of compounding that ultimately that we stand for. Also, we made the news this week coming in through Access Wire. This is Podcasting Impact Unprecedented Press Coverage of all 3 national drug wholesaler conferences supporting independent community pharmacy. We're excited that we made the news, and this is about us covering the McKesson, Cencora, and Cardinal Health events. This all happened within a period of about 45 days, and it was exhausting. So I'm kind of glad that bout of 3 conferences back to back to back is over. But nonetheless, it was so much fun to be there. A shout out to IPC, Independent Pharmacy Cooperative, for supporting us at the Idea Share. And then Outcomes, thank you so much for your support at Cencora's ThoughtSpot 2025. And then a shout out to Cardinal Health RBC. Thank you to Cardinal Health's Countertalk podcast for being a member of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I am quite proud of that accomplishment. That's the first time in history in the pharmacy industry that a publication, an audio publication, podcasting publication, showed up to cover the event with non-biased, transparent interviews from a collection of insight and a collection of people, politicians, pharmacists, pharmacy owners, administrators, technologists, and we're going to continue to deliver coverage of our conferences, as we always do. The next conference we're going to, I believe it's the NACDS, the National Association of Chain Drug Stores Total Store Expo. And if you're going, please let us know that you are going, and we would love to meet up with you. We are going to have a 2 parts of TWIRx today. Our feature interview is through Titan Accounting, and then we're going to be listening to some of the data that we're pulling from the RxInsider Intel reports. And without any further ado, let's get into today's feature interview. Hey, in our special feature of This Week in Pharmacy, I have a podcast superstar, somebody who I recruited to the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I don't know how long this has been, Adam, but you're just doing an incredible job representing
Well, thank you, sir.
Pharmacy owners. Adam, how have you been?
I have been absolutely hopping. It's been a little while between Cardinal RBC in Denver, and then I had a pharmacist out on paternity leave, and had another pharmacist leave, and so it's been a wild little rodeo here lately.
Well, we appreciate you. I really liked your coverage at RBC. That series is actually just coming out now. And if you're listening, we hope your week has been great. It's been a crazy week in pharmacy. So I'm glad that you're here with us, Adam. Give us a little bit of a background. How was Denver? What was that like? How busy was it? What was going on over at Cardinal Health?
Denver was the weather was nice. It was beautiful. We did a little hiking while we were out there. That was awesome. But as far as the Cardinal show, this one was buzzing. Last year was kind of off, I felt, but this year was really good. I saw a lot of people that I knew. Felt like there was a lot of optimism going into pharmacy world right now. I got to talk to some amazing people, learned a whole lot doing the podcast with some stuff that I didn't even know was out there. So that's the benefit I get of doing this. But no, Cardinal was it was rocking. They had a lot of good stuff going on. It's really promising.
Well, we're excited that you got to attend and cover the show. That's the power of the network that we're building. Is I don't want to be behind the mic. I want to be pulling the levers and finding talent like you and supporting organizations that are supporting the publication, but then getting information to our pharmacists is most important to me.
Yep.
Pharmacy owners, pharmacists in hospital systems, our specialty pharmacies, our PBM reform pharmacists who understand what the hell's going on in their neck of the woods. And
right.
So this is important. So this is why today's episode is so important, because this is exactly one of these organizations that are modern, using technology, artificial intelligence, more importantly. I know that's a buzzword. Some people overuse it, in my opinion, but this is going to be down to earth and demystifying. Adam, introduce our special guest. The Titan accounting team is here with us right now in the studio.
Yeah, I was excited about this one because our group has been working with them for goodness, man, I don't even know, a year or so. And I feel comfortable for the first time in a long time with the Titan guys. So we got Nick Caltabiano. Did I say it right, buddy?
Yeah.
Right. I just called
There
Nick.
you go. There you
I
go.
just
You
called
gotta have the right
Nick.
inflection on it.
That's right.
Yeah, you need some Parmesan cheese on that.
That's right. And then Jordan Pridemore. And we met, gosh, I don't even know. We were at a show somewhere, and I met a guy, and he was working on this, and we had the same kind of issues in the pharmacy accounting space, and it just kind of all came together. And I felt like we were, and Nick, you can tell me if I'm wrong here. I felt like we were kind of one of the first kind of groups that were really onboarding with you guys and learning this process. And so far, it's been really, really good. Like, I feel really comfortable knowing where my pharmacy is financially with this team.
You guys were, I think, the second group of pharmacies that we really took on. So just getting started and growing with us, and we were growing with you guys. It was
so it's been good. So I'm super, Todd, thanks for getting these guys on. I want the pharmacy world to know that these people are out there and that they are doing a great job. And it's important that we have this, especially nowadays with, thin margins and so many nuances in pharmacy.
All right, Nick, you got to give us an overview, because the first time I heard about this, and it was from Adam, and he brought it to my attention. I was like, who the heck are these guys, Titan Accounting Advisors, and how are they changing the game in pharmacy accounting, specifically around tech and artificial intelligence? Give our listeners an overview.
Yeah, so we really try to approach things from a kind of cloud-based and utilizing as much tech as we can to simplify and optimize client financials and really speed up the process. A lot of accounting has always been a historical view at things, so we really try to speed things up and get data in front of our clients to best make the proper decisions and profit-based decisions as quickly as they can.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, exactly what you said. Everything was historical in our space, and I know that a lot of my pharmacy friends, we had great accountants, but we had to teach them pharmacy. And so that's where so much of our time was chewed up, was teaching them, and then everything's retroactive from there. With you guys, you know what's going on, and we don't hardly ever talk retroactively. We are looking to forward. Here's what your numbers were. This is what this means. We're going to be watching this going forward, and using that. Those, you send us emails, you update us. We have quarterly reviews, and it's all boom right there. And I don't have to train you on anything, right?
Yeah, I
That's
think
that's been amazing.
Yeah, I think there are plenty of great accountants, great bookkeepers and things like that out there, but really
Absolutely.
having the knowledge within industry specifics, it saves a lot of time, it saves a lot of headaches, and it allows for that forward thinking that I think pharmacy really, really needs. Just with, like you said, thin margins and very tight cash flow issues and things like that.
Yeah.
I think in the market today, you see a very quickly fading line that has traditionally distinguished accounting from kind of the CFO world, and it's really they're coming closer together. That line is really starting to blur, and honestly, the market is kind of just demanding more and more that that one person, one company, one relationship can kind of serve in both of those functions. And so I think the top performing firms right now are figuring out the pivot from that completely historically focused traditional accounting to, hey, let's take this data, really synthesize it, and then let's, we call them actionable insights, but let's really glean some actionable insights that say not only do we know where the dollars are, but we know what we can do with them. And we kind of have that peace of mind and knowing that these decisions are well informed by accurate and timely financial data.
I've always looked at financials in the pharmacy world as kind of three buckets. You have like your bookkeeping bucket, your accountant filing bucket, and your tax strategy bucket. And they don't overlap very much. You might have one firm that does two of them kind of good, but they don't do the third one. And that's where I feel like now, because we're looking at stuff in the future and we're looking at real-time numbers and we're getting real-time updates, we can focus on what's a tax strategy, what's the new law that was kind of out, what's going on. And so I know here personally, our group feels super comfortable with this, and we're finally like, we kind of got what we've been wanting for a while. Things always change, but you guys are on top of it, and that's been the beauty of this one for sure.
All right, so
yeah, we really try. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's right. I was just saying, why would an independent pharmacy look at Titan in comparison to the traditional accountant who might not understand pharmacy specifically? Like, give me a 30-day story example of why that's a challenge, and then what's that secret sauce that Titan's bringing to the table?
Yeah, so we, if coming to a traditional accountant, like we were talking about, a lot of them won't understand that third-party accounts receivable is a whole mess in the pharmacy world. You have the differences in reconciliation times, and then you have DIR fees on top of that, and understanding what those are, and then understanding how cash flow works with paying more for the reimbursement later, but then you're selling scripts and selling RX to get paid later. So now you have to manage having that cash go out and not having it come back in. So I think that that's kind of the big sell with Titan is we know how that works, and we don't, like Adam said, they didn't have to teach us what they were going through in pharmacy.
Yeah, having somebody on my side
I
that
think
just
that's
got it.
fair.
Yeah, you just
Yep.
you knew it. That was the whole point of you guys designing this company. You know, hey, we know pharmacy, we know accounting. Let's put them together. And there's not a lot of accounting firms out there that are doing this. So it was refreshing finally for
Yeah,
us to have
we
that.
we really saw a hole in the market. Like there are big firms that do work with pharmacies, but there weren't a whole lot,
Mhm.
and there's not a lot of whole information about dealing with these in an accounting. It's like how you deal with DIR fees. It's all up in the air, and how that affects the bottom line, and
Mhm.
how that affects a pharmacist and the kind of going concern of independent pharmacy right now.
Yeah. Everything in our world is so fluid and so and changing
Mhm.
constantly. And
Mm-hmm.
going to our amazing traditional accounting firms, and you're trying to explain that to them, they just look at you like you got, five heads. Like, what are you talking about? So
Mhm.
it's awesome that I can talk to somebody and be like, man, I really don't, this fee that I got out and this reimbursement. Oh, Cardinal was coming back with this rebate and this, and you guys are like, oh yeah, we saw that. That's good. Ah, okay, you got that. You understand what I'm talking about. Now let's talk about something. What do we need to do to be better instead of
Right.
reflecting on the
Yeah.
past? So that's been the best part of this about this relationship for sure.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one other thing that I personally like to do is make that connection, kind of building off of what Adam was talking about, and just being available to, I think Adam knows that he can reach out at any time, ask a question, and within a day or two, there'll be a response and we'll either plan a meeting to, walk through it, or that kind of thing. So I think that that's a really important part of any new accounting firm and things like that is that connection. And I think speaks to independent pharmacies specifically, just since I think independent pharmacies are cornerstones of their community
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
are places that people go for that support. So being able to help support them in that is what we
Yeah.
kind of strive to do.
Yeah, I think many things in the marketplace, I mean, you take people's, whatever their entertainment choices, going to a movie, anything, we've seen the shift over the last 15 years of everything is more experiential now, right? People want the experience, not just the deliverable. Accounting is really no different, right? At the end of the day, our goal is not to just print out a report that, quite honestly, if you're keeping, your QuickBooks up to date, you could just print it yourself, right? That's not what we're here for. We're here for experience, right? It's the journey of getting to where the business needs to be. And what are the steps along the way? One of the biggest problems whenever we're talking to, new pharmacy prospects, one of the first questions we always ask is, well, what's not going well right now? What pain point or problem is it that you're really trying to solve? The number one answer we get without fail, the number one answer, there's no response from my current accountant, my current bookkeeper, or I ask a question and maybe I get an answer, in a couple weeks, or if I do get an answer after a couple weeks, it's not a good answer. I can never get them on the phone, right? Just these kind of communication issues. And so, our number one goal just in day-to-day workflow is we're going to stay in kind of a high level of communication with our clients to make sure that we can be as proactive as possible to see problems coming and solve them, right? Try to be proactive instead of reactive. And I think Nick, I mean, yeah, I've never seen anybody do a better job of staying on top of seeing what's coming, getting ahead of those problems, preemptively solving things, being proactive and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna kind of be the gatekeeper, right? I'm gonna sort of block. We're in Alabama, we love football, right? So we kind of use the blocking analogy, but he's gonna block." To make sure that no financial blitzes are getting through the line to his clients, as much as possible.
I think
Yeah.
that that's really important, specifically with cloud-based accounting and with outsourced accounting functions, is that maintaining a lot of communication and a clear line of communication so that nothing ever falls through the cracks.
Yeah.
So you guys, and I'm going to throw my spin on this for anybody that's listening. Communication is key in your pharmacy between you and your staff, between you and your team, whether it's accounting team, whether it's your wholesaling team. But, I can think of here locally numerous small businesses that don't communicate and they ended up not doing well. So that communication and Nick, I mean, Jordan, you're exactly right about Nick. Like I'm literally getting a text like, "Hey, what's up with this? What's going on here?" And I'm like, "Bro, like calm down. I'll get it to you in a second." So he's on my case sometimes, which is good. Like that is new and different and we can reach out and it may be a day. But even if we don't hear something, I immediately email back or something. It's like, oh, I apologize. I had a baby, right? So Nick was out and I had a baby and my wife's doing this. And oh, okay, cool. I'm sorry I bothered you. But the really good part about it is, and me tooting the horn for Titan that I've experienced is it just is comfortable. It just makes sense. I'm getting my quarterly reviews. I'm getting my monthly, whatever it is, my monthly updates. And in the update, it has a very nice little couple paragraphs about how's your business doing. Here's some things we need to look at. Here's some things going forward we need to keep an eye on. I haven't had that in 10, 15 years. And not to knock the other accounting firms that I've had, but this was very, very refreshing. I keep saying that word refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, we have what we call guiding principles, right? We have kind of these 8 things we have decided that if we can follow these, we are serving our team members well internally, and we're serving our customers well. And the number one guiding principle is we begin with the end in mind, right? At the end of the day, all we're really thinking is if I was a pharmacy owner, what kind of service experience do I want from my finance team?
Right.
We just try to create.
So we've talked about what you guys have, your services, your programs. And then Todd kind of threw out there AI, which is kind of the buzzword everybody's kind of saying, right? And you guys are cloud-based and you're doing a lot of stuff and you're in Alabama and I'm in Kentucky, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I'm just throwing this out there. I don't even think this might be in our format of us talking about it today, but what are some things you guys are seeing coming forward? Because people want to know about this because, I'm fixing to roll out some AI inside my pharmacy that Nick, I haven't even told you about yet, but that's an expense. But it's going to be amazing for what it's going to do for us. It's going to save us a bunch of money. So where do you see accounting going? And what are you guys rolling out or wanting to do with some of this, large language models that are coming out that are just speedballing things that we're doing?
Yeah, you or me.
You do touch on AI a whole lot, but I think on my end, it's been a big help with, gathering ideas. It's a great place to help solve problems. We can use it to, help create new work papers, things like that, and just really optimize to decrease that window and provide financials at a faster rate.
So you guys are already using some AI models of some sort to help you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I could. We probably need a whole different episode to dive into.
We can
AI.
do that.
I nerd out on this all day. But
I have too, man. I'm turning into an AI nerd. An AI nerd.
I've been.
The world's going to come to an end probably because of AI, but I'm going to just ride that wave until it does. Like I'm loving it.
I mean, so again, like so many things, it's about pivoting. It's about embracing change. AI, if you remember, the internet used to be this thing that you had to plug into, your phone jack, your computer, and then you sit there and now like my dishwasher is on Wi-Fi, my stove is on Wi-Fi, my fridge can order its own, water filters or whatever. So the same way that the Internet of Things, as they call it, the same way that the internet is starting to integrate into daily life, AI is just starting to integrate into daily life. I think there's this kind of mystifying wall around AI if you're not a big user of it, and you think it's like, you either think AI is just ChatGPT or you think it's like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain and you have no
Yeah.
idea. Most people are interacting every day already with some sort of AI that they're not even aware of
Right.
because it's so seamlessly integrated. And in the same way, the tools that we use every day are starting to integrate more AI. Really, it doesn't replace creativity. It doesn't replace human logic and the wisdom to be able to look through, the kind of nuances of a situation. But what it does allow is it allows us to process data faster. It allows a lot of pattern recognition. So we can take a large sample size of financial data across a lot of different pharmacies, and we can kind of use AI to help crunch and synthesize that data, see patterns and trends that we may not have noticed on our own, and be able to pull that data, present that in a clear and meaningful way to our clients. Again, in an effort to sort of proactively give them the information that allows them to grow their businesses, hopefully kind of preempt issues that are coming. And then, I mean, like you said, Adam, in so many small ways, every business, pharmacies or other, can use AI to just create better customer service experiences for their team, whether it's, solving trouble tickets or whether it's, just communicating with your customers, regular high touch communication, marketing, things like that. I mean, there's a million ways that we use it, every day just to make life simpler. But it's becoming much more commonplace for AI to really create space to serve more clients and serve them in more unique and individualized ways faster. Yeah, I mean, it's just good stuff, man. It's good
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm loving, I mean, pivot was a great word that you used, right? If you're not pivoting, and I've always been kind of that weird pharmacy owner that's beta testing things and doing stuff, but I want to maximize whatever's out there. I want to use it to maximize my efficiency.
That's
Now,
right.
and shameless plug here, even though we're doing a podcast with you, you guys have helped us maximize our efficiency because I'm not having to go back and look at stuff and try to figure it out. I mean, me and Gabe have run countless hours of Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that. Now we don't have to do that, right? With you guys. And so now I'm looking forward, okay, well, where are we at financially? Can I implement this AI bot that's going to help me process faster? Okay, so it's almost like a snowball effect that really started with me better understanding my financials through Titan to see where I'm going. And now knowing that you guys are utilizing that as well, which is going to help me, which is going to help the next client that comes aboard. So yeah, I'm with you, Jordan. I'm nerding out on this whole thing. I think it's amazing. And
Good stuff.
next year pharmacy is going to look totally different than what it's looking now, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, accounting is
Yeah, I
going
think
to look
accounting will be
different,
this.
and
Yeah.
pharmacy is going to,
Yeah.
100%. It's going to look totally different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So rule of thumb, find somebody that's using it and jump on board because they're going to take you to places that you didn't even know you could go.
Come on.
That's my
There you
spiel,
go.
right? Amen.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I always think, hey, how can we take data that we don't have time to analyze and put months beside each other, put years beside each other, put the data that came from maybe a DIR fee report or something, and be able to do some predictive modeling as pharmacy owners to say, what does my cash flow look like in a year from now based on all of this data? Just give me a model, like exercise that. And that just tweaks my nerdiness to tenfold. Like
Yeah.
I want to. So talk to me about your imaginations, guys, because I can only imagine what you're thinking of as people. I can sit here and imagine it. You're not only imagining it, but you're implementing it. So give us some examples of some of the reporting or models that we might be able to leverage through Titan Accounting.
Yeah. So let me start with this. Most pharmacies, when you go in to look at your, like your QuickBooks or your financials, wherever you're, kind of keeping your financial data, you probably are using, I don't know, 25% of the actual data points that you have available to you, right? Most people are looking at at a couple or small number of accounts or line items on their financials to kind of judge, okay, generally speaking, I'm doing okay, or generally speaking, I'm not doing okay, and maybe I need to make some. But when we look at and we're thinking through kind of creative ways to create value to pharmacies, we're diving into, and kind of going back to the AI thing, we're crunching larger data sets with financial data that you may have not understood the relevance of, to take, they say historical performance, is the best predictor of, future success, or, something to that degree. But we're taking, Todd, to your point, that historical data to put it, side by side, and whether it's whether it's some of those reconciliations, whether it's those purchases, reimburse. I mean, there's just a million things that mostly have to do around cash flow, right? Because at the end of the day, like, it takes money to run a business, and so we need to understand our cash position, and understand what's coming, what's available, and understand if something went poorly in the past, why. I think that's something that's missed a lot of times, is you may be in choppy waters, and if you manage to make it through on the other side, you're too traumatized to go back and look and see, like, hey, what actually went wrong. And so, I
Right.
don't know, maybe we're like financial therapists in a way, where we're willing to dive back into the trauma of what just happened and do some root cause analysis and say, hey, okay, what, was this bad purchasing? Was this just bad contract terms for, reimbursements? Do we need to fix our AR? What is it that we, and then, kind of back to the communication point, it's, hey, Adam, hey, pharmacy owner, what is the best way? What is your preferred method for you to really visualize this data and understand it? Because people want to communicate in, in different ways. And so we try to get a feel for each one of our pharmacies and the owners. Hey, what's your individual preferred method of, like, kind of digesting this information so that it makes sense to you? And so the way we put financial packages together, the way Nick is going to structure kind of his monthly and quarterly meetings to go through that data, it's not going to be this cookie cutter. Hey, here's this QuickBooks report that we show to everybody. It's, hey, Adam, listen, I know that this is the way you kind of operate your model. This is the way you think about cash flow. This is the way you think about purchasing, all these things. And so here's a presentation of this data that makes the most sense for you specifically. I think boutique is probably the word that a lot of people use. Boutique accounting. We don't really say that, but that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. There's been times, multiple times, and I know Gabe's worse than me, but we reached out to Nick and be like, "Hey, what does this? Can you show me this next time on the report? What this and this and this means, and give me a percentage?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, we're doing this," and boom, it's there. Whereas before, it was just a straight QuickBooks, report that didn't really give what I wanted. So we're getting the data that we want, something that maybe he suggests. And back to what you're saying, like looking historical, and just my example of that is right now I have a recent graduate who's taking her boards. She's working for me right now, and I've got 15, 20 years of pharmacy experience, and she'll ask me a question, and she's like, "Hey, why did you do it that way?" And my response is, "Well, that's just the way we kind of did it because, 12 years ago, I had something that did happen negatively, and now I know not to do it, but I can't really explain it to them." And so that is kind of what you're talking about is, hey, we've always known, we just didn't really want to do it this way. Well, why didn't we do it this way? Let's go back and analyze that. Well, that is so much data that now this AI and all these programs and platforms can analyze and give you a real time, hey, this is exactly what happened. This is what to look for. Maybe if you tweak this, it wouldn't. So I'm excited to see how far it's going to go, and the data that we're going to use, and I'm going to use it. Like I'm super pumped up about it.
Yeah, it's the just the, like, even not even historical in year sense. You're looking at pharmacies doing 10,000 scripts a month. That's 10,000 transactions that
Right.
can potentially be looked at. So just the ability to kind of consolidate those massive data sets in what would take an astronomical amount of time for an individual to do, you can do it in seconds.
Yeah.
And if all of this sounds terrible boring to anybody listening, that's why you have us. Because where this is mind-numbingly boring to so many people, man,
We're
my
nerdy
wife
now.
would tell you, yeah, she's like, man, if you say one more thing about how excited you are from a spreadsheet today, like, I'm gonna lock you in a closet.
Right.
But we love it, man. We nerd out. We have a great time with it.
Yeah. And you want people like that on your team that,
Yeah.
if this isn't your thing, find somebody who loves doing that thing for you. And
Yeah.
we hit a home run with these guys for sure.
I love it. I love it. So, Nick and Jordan, talk to our listeners about the future of pharmacy from your perspective. We're getting to a position increasing where the dispensing fee is no longer the only source of revenue. There's other sources of revenue coming in. You probably have clients that are getting very creative with generating cash-based systems, but talk to us about this from your perspective because it's different than Adam. It's certainly different than mine because I even read a journal just this week. It was published on July 29th, and I read it. It said the impact of artificial intelligence on accounting practices and academic perspective. This is a study done by nature.com. It's brilliant. It's interesting, especially if you're nerds like us about data. But what's your insights on the world of pharmacy?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of pharmacists are getting more creative with what they need to do because it isn't as simple as filling more prescriptions will get you more revenue. And so it's what I see happening is a greater need for financial literacy as far as that goes. You know, you can't just have one big pile of revenue on your P&L. You need to be able to break out margins between those and understand exactly what is making you money and what isn't making you money. And then based off of that, you know, how much is your personnel cost going to cost for introducing this new line of revenue? Just really a great need for more data to assess and properly move forward. That's where I see a lot of pharmacy going, and I think that that's something that I think any business really is going to need. It's just being able to more accurately move forward with the information that's available.
Yeah, and it takes intentionality, right? I think a lot of people in any business they run, you sort of have your four walls and you're like, okay, well, the business exists now, so I should be making money. But, it's kind of similar. You don't go to the gym and only bench press every day and expect your legs to get stronger, right? You have to have kind of an intentional variety and game plan to say, okay, I'm going to strengthen the same way you strengthen all areas of your body and your health through various exercise and things. You have to strengthen all areas of your business through variety and through intentionality. And so it's like Nick said, it's having a partner in analyzing those new revenue streams. Okay, kind of what's my margin here? Not every dollar made is a good dollar, right? Because there's a lot that goes into making that dollar. And so, being able to kind of pick and choose and understand how do I make a dollar, but how do I make a good dollar? And so I think when you have the intentionality and a game plan to execute, and you're willing to look at market data and look at your peers and see what people are doing, and take that, execute it at a high level, be willing to walk away from some things that may not be as healthy or as optimal for the business. When you do that, I think that really helps people in general grow, pivot, to go back to that word, right? Be able to change, embrace change, and grow quickly and thrive and serve their customers, right? That's what it's about at the end of the day. Like let's serve people well, right? Let's help our patients. And I think we're all kind of a partner in that journey.
One of the things as we're expanding into different avenues of cash flow, cash revenue, whatever it is, that I've enjoyed, and I don't know if there's such thing as HIPAA with accounting, but like Nick will, because you guys are servicing other pharmacies across the country, you might say, hey, I've got this store in, wherever Alabama that's doing XYZ, and they've done really well with this kind of product. One of them was, pet supplies you've mentioned to me. And you're like, hey, let me hook you up with this person who might help you with this person, with this thing here. So it's just another layer of that teamwork that you guys are seeing. Hey, here's a pharmacy that's doing something really good over here. Why can't all the other pharmacies be doing something like that? And I've never really had that as well without me fishing for it, right? And that's what I do when I go to shows and I go to Cardinal and I go to do podcasts and I do whatever. I'm always fishing for what's somebody else that's doing really awesome. But to have somebody on my team that has brought me things, hey, and it didn't work out for where I'm at in my spot, but it was an option to look at that I didn't even think about before. So that was something really cool, that they've got a pulse on what pharmacies are doing that are creative and are working and not afraid to to bring that up to somebody that maybe not doing that, and maybe something's not working really well in their pharmacy, and like, hey, here's something to maybe even think about, and then back to your point, you've also, like, the clinic that I have here in the pharmacy, which I've talked about a lot on the podcast, our holistic health clinic, bringing that up, like, hey, your dollars on there aren't doing as well as they used to be, or that's something to really pay attention to here. Is there some kind of service you need to add? My goal with that clinic was to break even. Okay, are we breaking even? And so having I think sometimes accountants or accounting firms don't like to tell almost negative or bad news to people. But you guys have done that in a way that with the data, you can explain it and we see it and we understand it, and give us the tools and the options to change and make wise decisions. That's been a plus for sure.
That's good.
Well, guess
That
what?
was good.
Guess what season's coming? It's football season, and you guys
I
just
know.
at the beginning, Alabama Crimson Tide. I know you guys have to be fans of,
Boo.
right?
Roll Tide.
Well, Tide.
Yes,
So
sir.
there's some oncoming players that are 5-star. Cedarian Morgan, he's ranked number 3 as a wide receiver in the nation.
Well, why are we not talking about Kentucky football? That's what I want to know.
Kentucky has a football team?
That's enough. I'm done with this podcast.
I'm still a UConn fan.
I know.
Not like Alabama.
Right. Neither is Kentucky. Shoo-wee.
What do you guys excited about this year? Shout
Do
out
what?
some of the players you're excited about coming on.
I'm actually, it's not his first season, but I mean, Ryan Williams is one of the most electric players, I've seen in, years and years and years. He's fun. He's explosive. I watch these guys play, and it makes my knees hurt just watching some of the ways they're turning and jumping. I guess football is a young man's game these days, but
I mean, as it progresses, they get bigger and they get faster, and it's just
we've gotten so spoiled. I mean, I can't get into too much football. We've gotten spoiled over the last 20 years as Alabama fans, so we're in a process right now, Todd, of healing. So if I could just ask for a little space and some kind of just private time to,
hey, as a Kentucky basketball
get
guy,
back.
As a Kentucky basketball guy, I get that, because we so many years, and then all of a sudden it's like, not that well. So yeah, I get that as well. But you're funny. You're talking about a guy on how big these guys are. Kentucky got a guy from New Mexico. He's a Navajo Indian, and he's like 6'7", 360 or something. He
probably runs a 4.5.
Oh, he is a monster.
That's the thing. It's not only that they're massive; it's that they move quick.
So fast.
In the NFL, right? I'm an Eagles fan, so in the NFL you have Saquon Barkley and stuff like that, and you have just power cleans 450 pounds,
like it's nothing.
Can also run a 4.5.
Right.
Squat a dump truck. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's crazy.
What do you?
Hey, but I want to be really cheesy here. Like, we are the Alabama football and the Eagles versions of Pharmacy World, right? That's who we are. We're
Exactly.
powerlifting. We're hitting those 450 pounds. We're doing it right?
Of course.
Come on. Hey, you know what? Nick Saban, always harped on the process, right?
Right.
His secret sauce was consistency over time on a process. Develop a process, stick to it, work it, execute at a high level. And it may sound cheesy, but that's really what it is, right? I think for any of us, if we can develop a process, stick to it with over time, and make those adjustments as you go, then I think that's a pretty good recipe for success for anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Good stuff.
Titan Accounting, you'll be coming back to This Week in Pharmacy. We're going to be digging into the super nerdiness of the impact of artificial intelligence on American business and just healthcare in general. But I want to just say thank you so much for being on This Week in Pharmacy. And Adam, this has been so much fun. You got to come back more often and do this with me.
I know. Now that I've got pharmacists back in the building, I'm ready, buddy. I'm all in.
Nick, Jordan, thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks
much.
for having us on. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Guys, and I'm not just saying this, you guys are awesome. You're doing a good thing. It's fun to be on board. And I'm excited to see where we go with Titan for sure.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, hold on. We will be right back on This Week in Pharmacy.
This episode is sponsored by Independent Pharmacy Cooperative, widely known as IPC. Established in 1983, IPC is the nation's largest group purchasing organization owned by independent pharmacy. With a mission of maximizing the success of community pharmacists, IPC works to provide members with access to effective programs and services designed to enhance profitability for independent pharmacy. Read more about our mission by checking out our website at ipcrx.com. That's ipcrx.com.
Hey, welcome back to This Week in Pharmacy. Hey, I'm excited about the continuing conference season that's coming up. We just got back from 3 back-to-back national drug wholesaler conferences. We started out at Cardinal Health. We got to cover McKesson's Idea Share. We got to go to Syncora ThoughtSpot. It's just amazing to see what's happening in independent community pharmacy. I'm excited. If you haven't heard any of those series, please go back to Pharmacy Podcast Network's feeds, whether that's at Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening. And you're going to be inspired by the stories that are coming out of independent community pharmacy, technology, things that are happening. But just wanted to give a shout out to all of those wholesalers and say thank you. Thank you for having Pharmacy Podcast Network cover those events. It meant a lot for us to be there. And we're already getting a ton of feedback on RBC and Idea Share and ThoughtSpot in follow-up. So excited to continue to extend that coverage. Today, back on TWIRx, RxInsider. I don't know if you're not a reader of RxInsider's Platinum pages. I'm sure you are. 20 Ways. It's a resource to our industry. It's been a staple of the information from the Pharmacy Podcast that we constantly pull from. And what's exciting is to welcome back the founder of RxInsider, CEO, Greg Cianfarani. Greg, it's great to have you back on TWIRx.
Thanks for inviting me back. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure being on your podcasts.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to continue to feature things that are coming out of your organization. I remember Platinum Pages was my personal first resource of understanding what companies were available in specific spaces. And way back in the day, I was just a pharmacy technology and automation podcast. That's all we really talked about. So I was constantly going to Platinum Pages and your website to find who's in this space. And then all of a sudden that evolved to 20 Ways. And it was more of like a storytelling magazine that was just like, it was so much more in depth. And then you got into Core, which was about your careers. And then you've come out with this market intelligence reports. And so I love the evolution of RxInsider, and we're huge fans of that. And the latest with it, we're starting to feature on This Week in Pharmacy is the market intelligence report. So give our listeners, just in case they didn't hear our last episode with Jeff from RxInsider, talk to us about those market intelligence reports. What are those?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So historically, RxInsider has been a marketing and communications company. And you had mentioned the Platinum Pages publication, the 20 Ways publication, our Pharmacy 500 marketplace. We've always connected product and service providers with decision makers within pharmacies. But this past year, in 2025, we launched our market intelligence group, which is more focused on market research, education, just really educating the market on the operational portion of the supply chain. So educating the market on all the automation and technology companies and products, on the wholesalers, on staffing agencies, really anything that pharmacies need to run their business. We do really deep dives on everything from market segments like, let's say tablet counters, to teardowns of specific companies. We just launched a report breaking down Cencora, since it's such a complex and dynamic company, like breaking out all their different divisions. So we really strive to educate the market, and one of the ways we do it are through these weekly market reports. So we're publishing one every week. They're sent out via our weekly dose email newsletter, and we've received a lot of positive feedback on how it's helping the market just stay up to date, but also learn quite a bit.
Absolutely. And that's, like I said, that's our resource. So I'm excited today. So we're bringing one to TWIRx this week in pharmacy. We're going to be featuring the College of Pharmacy report that just came out, and I think came out last week, actually. And the Colleges of Pharmacy, this market report from August 2025, it's just packed with amazing information for anyone. And I'm talking about people that are thinking about going to school for pharmacy school, people that are in pharmacy school, analysts, people that are in refinance companies that want to help, pharmacy students refinance their student loans. So talk to us a little bit about the Colleges of Pharmacy report.
Sure. So our team decided that the subject of just a breakdown of the colleges of pharmacy would be well received and appreciated out there in the market. So over the past couple of months, our market analysts dug up a lot of information on the colleges of pharmacy, and we packaged it all into this one report. And we'll probably publish another one next year that's a little bit beefier, and each year they'll get beefier and beefier. But it's really a breakdown of there are 141 colleges of pharmacy in the United States. There's another 7 or 8 in Canada, but it's really focused on the 141 that are in the U.S. And it's really a segment that I'm passionate about. I've been working within the colleges of pharmacy, the higher ed segment, for the last 15 years. Todd, you had mentioned Core ELMS. That's a product that we founded here at RxInsider, spun it up into its own company called Core, and I want to say 94% of the colleges of pharmacy use it to manage the experiential education portion of the curriculum, and tens of thousands of pharmacists out there use it if they're preceptors to manage their students. So it's a segment I'm passionate about. I like to think I know a little bit about, and it's just great sharing this, sharing information, about these schools.
Yeah, like the quick facts where you're saying a significant number of pharmacy students are pursuing residencies and fellowships after graduation. It's mentioning the American Society of Health System Pharmacies and information that you've gleaned from the mid-year and the clinical meeting held in December every year. And then it just goes into different components of what's the median pay level of pharmacy school. And it's a really good resource. It's something that our profession needs. We need to be facing each other with facts and figures and evidence-based information, even from a business perspective or your education perspective, so that we can see where do we need to go to improve the pharmacy profession? Where do we need to go to improve the environments that our pharmacists are working in? And we're going through a real rough time right now in a lot of ways. I'm a half glass full kind of guy. I've always been that way. Greg, you know me. And you're, I'm more of the emotional guy. I think you're more of the stable, black and white, bringing the data to the table guy. But we need both of, we need that. We need both of those kind of elements to improve the profession. And I'm so excited to be working with the RxInsider team bring more of this information to the listeners. A shout out to those pharmacy schools out there, 141 pharmacy schools. Give an idea. What do you see being added on to programs? I've seen more business courses being added on. I've seen entrepreneurship kind of tracks added on. I'm looking around at the pharmacy schools. Who's going to do the first AI development algorithm treatment program plan, add on to what is the future of our providers?
Yeah, there's I don't want to call it a trend, but a lot of the PharmD programs have started to offer a dual MBA program. Many schools out there, I would say probably everyone, sees the value of having a strong business background within, if you were a pharmacist. So in our research, 24 schools are now offering a dual MBA, which they seem to partner, a bit with a business school on campus, and it's been a very popular path for many students. So, we've seen that that trend quite a bit. Of course, the residencies, that's a major pathway for pharmacists that are going to specialize in specific clinical areas. And if you're at the ASHP mid-year meeting, you get a big sense of that. All of those students, I don't say all of them, but the lion's share are there for residency interviews and exploring the different residencies. So of course that's a big avenue there for them. But the MBA, dual MBA program is very interesting. A lot more programs are also offering post-secondary degrees in just different areas. Not saying a master's in business, but masters in pharmacogenomics and just a number of different master's programs out there. We didn't track those this year, but we probably will for next year's report on what that landscape looks like as far as post-secondary degree programs. And then third, a lot of these programs are offering, it's not part of the PharmD program. It's, I guess you could say in parallel to it to a degree, but it's a degree in pharmaceutical sciences. So it's a 4-year BS degree. It's not for an individual who wants to practice pharmacy, but perhaps wants to work in industry and yet not have to. It's not as clinically oriented. It's not a PharmD program. It's not 6 years. There's no formal experiential education component to that program. And we did not track that this year, but we'll probably add that to next year's report as far as which programs out there do offer a pharmaceutical sciences program as well.
Yeah, I love it. And the evolution, you just keep bolting these analytical reports on IV workflow management software and patient communication systems, market threats, the stock performance of the pharmacy 500, the careers outlook. Like this is good stuff. Like we need this kind of stuff. We need the ability to look at things from a black and white perspective and really make sense of where's that specific market going. And we're definitely going to continue to use it here on This Week in Pharmacy. Thank you so much, Greg, for being a guest on This Week in Pharmacy. What's going on this weekend for you? And are you going to get any time off? Are you going to work through the weekend? What are you doing?
Yeah, nothing really solidly planned for this weekend. But today it's kind of a cool day at the RxInsider offices here. It's Kids Day, so every summer we have Kids Day where everyone brings in their kids, and we have events in the office. So if you hear kids in the background, that's what's going on. And then what we'll do is we'll go to my house and have a big pool party for the kids this afternoon. So that's where actually I'm headed off now to make sure the house is prepared.
Yeah.
So that's the big event this weekend.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. We're gonna have a fire night tonight. We love bonfires. We have the little metal table right beside the pool, and we light the pool up, and it's a nice time. And I'm kind of mad. I'm upset about summer 2025 in Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh area. We lost almost all of June to rain. Half of July was kind of rainy. And now I'm waking up in the morning, Greg, and it's in the mid 60s. And that means it's starting to get cold. And I don't have to tell you, you're in Rhode Island. So you're probably getting some of that too.
Yeah. Well, it's been hazy, the last few days. And I think it's because of those Canadian wildfires, I think. But hopefully it's supposed to be a beautiful weekend. So that's probably spend some time at the beach this weekend, and that'll do it.
Well, we appreciate you and all you do at RxInsider. Keep up the good work. Can't wait to have you guys back and share the next market intelligence reports from RxInsider.
Yeah, well, we appreciate the invitation, Todd. Thanks so much for having us on and talking through some of these market reports. Yeah, they're exciting. They're well received, and hopefully a lot of people are learning from them and helping sharpen their own skills through market knowledge.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you. Hey, listeners out there, we appreciate you, the pharmacy techs that are working out there, the pharmacists, the consultants, the people in pharmacy that are supporting our pharmacists in the business of pharmacy. Hey, listen, if you feel burnout, if you think that there is something in your career that's just not quite right, I want you to reach out to Pharmacy Podcast Network. We have so many connections and resources, people, and that might be able to get your gears turning if you do want to make a career shift. And there is a career report that is on the RxInsider page. Definitely go take a look at that. Greg, great time with you here on TWIRx, and we'll talk with you next time.
Thanks, Todd. Take care. Have a great weekend.